Yo, what's up, Brett? I'm Bob Walters. He's Brett Grasso. Welcome to Locked Up Sports, Mets Extra Live. Brett, we had a big Mets win today. I screwed up the intro there because I was going to play audio from the game and everything, but it didn't work out. But either way, welcome to the show. They even up the series. We win a thriller today. They leave a bunch of runners on base. They get out of some jams. But in all, a good win for the Mets out at Yankee Stadium. They even up the series.
I thought I was worried they're going to go down 0-2. You don't need. Listen, I feel like nobody. Last year, it's bad for the Yankees fans when the Mets sweep the entire season series. Nobody wants to get swept. Everybody just wants to get one game. So no matter what, you're not just you swept us out of there. So everybody's going to go home happy this weekend. Now we got the rubber match tomorrow, but as we saw, the Mets squeaked by with one decent performance from Griffin Canning. Not his best, but still good. And Fraancisco Lindor finally able to get that run in the ninth to go up by a run. Mets squeak one out 3-2.
Oh, it was 3-2. What did I have? 4-3. If the wrong score, it was 3-2. It was 3-2. You're right. It was 3-2. What happened?
I wasn't even paying attention to what you wrote up there.
Yeah. The graphic was wrong. It was 3-2. But hey, listen. It's a good win. It's a tight win, especially after yesterday. I think Soto kind of mailed in that last at bat yesterday when he could have brought the tying run to the plate in Alonso. He mailed it in. He got a sac fly. He played well today. He got that stolen base early.
Yep.
That set up the first run. That was a big play. They forgot about him on second base, and it was just he stole third. He took third. He caught him sleeping, and then they scored on the base hit. The Mets scored 2 runs on sac flies. They played small ball. The Yankees played long ball, and the Mets were able to squeak out a win. And Diaz looked great in the 9th inning, especially against Judge.
Did you see that? He had his fastball today, and against everybody. Let me tell you, he was exactly where he wanted to be. He was getting ahead of hitters, had his slider working, but that fastball, man, he was really touching it. And then that last, man, to throw it high in, upstairs. Listen, if Judge lets that go, it's a walk. It's a walk. But
yeah, and Judge was 0 for 5. Judge 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts today, so you were able to contain him.
First people, I think, all year, right? I mean, that hasn't happened.
He's hitting like 415. He's not going. He hasn't gone 0 for 5. I can't imagine he's gone 0 for 5 at all this year. I don't know that for sure, but he was 0 for 5 today.
The guy's getting on base, half the time. It's incredible.
Yeah, his on base percentage is incredible, and
we're watching 2 legends out there where everybody's talking about Soto and Soto coming in, whatever. Like, oh, look, we're looking at 2 of the greatest baseball players of our generation playing each other versus the Mets and Yankees, and it's going to go on for years and years. And forget about getting into Fraancisco Lindor and who else might be coming down the pike for both of these teams that are, could very well be that. We have 2 active future Major League Hall of Famers that are like the best in the sport battling it out now for the next few years. It's going to be really, really exciting to watch. What did you get of that ovation that Soto got when he came up?
Well, no, you knew it was gonna. He was gonna get booed most of the time. You knew he was gonna get booed.
In the outfield when he came out, it was
when they turned around. They threw them in his back yesterday. Yeah,
the other way, he did nothing.
The bleacher creatures are always like that. Of course, he did nothing yesterday. He walked 3. Yeah, he tipped the cap. Classy. He was classy, Brett. That's what Mets do. They're classy. The Mets were classy about it. Soto was classy about it. The Yankee fans were not classy about it. But you knew that's what was going to happen. You knew they were going to turn their back. They were going to boo him. There were smatterings of cheers, but that's the Mets fans that are in the building because there is some Mets fans in the buildings. So what are you going to do? Today he played well. He's been on base 6 times, I think, this series so far. He got walked 3 times yesterday. He did get a hit. He got walked twice and a hit today. So he's got that big stolen base that got him from second to third when he caught the pitcher sleeping. And, what are you going to do?
He went through this. He went through the same thing when he went to San Diego, and he started off, and it took him a while before he adjusted. We've been through this with other superstars in New York. Namely, you look at Fraancisco Lindor and how many years, year after year, of having slow starts. And guess what? It's a long season. And forget about a long season. We're talking about Soto now and what he's doing over the first, couple months of the season. And then we can talk about the whole season. But this is 15 years of this. He could have a horrible year now. if he has one big moment in the playoffs, a couple big ones that make it happen, nobody's going to care what his average was all year. If you make the run and you do it in the big spots, or, listen, he's going to come around, but he's going to do a Fraancisco Lindor type of season, which is put himself in such a spot where no matter how well he plays in the second half, his numbers aren't going to reflect how well he did. It's going to get
you're
back
getting
up
to a point where he's not going to have the numbers that you expect him to have, no matter what.
Will not come, no matter what happens. But I don't care about that. I don't care about what he didn't do yesterday. I care about how he is, going forward. And of course, most importantly, September, October baseball.
Yeah, and he's playing. And listen, he gets on base. He still gets on base about half the time. And you have Alonso behind him, who's having an MVP type season. He's kind of hit his first little rut of the season, but he got some hits today. He's played well. Alonso's been carrying this team. Alonso and the pitching is what carries this team. And again, the bullpen today came out. You got 3 and 2/3, 1 hit. The 3 walks there are all Reed Garrett, who I didn't like the fact that he loaded the bases and he didn't have anybody in the bullpen, because you had to get Reed Garrett out there. The fact that he let, I think it was LeMahieu, face Reed Garrett and hit a rocket that if he didn't hit it right at Soto, it would have been a 3-base hit.
They got out of a lot of trouble. Hit. They've been doing that all year, is getting out of trouble. And it's nice, but that doesn't last forever. Eventually, you want your offense to just score 10 runs. And you don't want to put this pressure on your bullpen day after day after day. And I get it. Games versus the Yankees, that's what it's going to be. You're expecting it to be a tight game and Edwin Diaz to come in, and you're going to get that, iconic matchup of, Diaz and Judge, and that's what we're looking for. But the truth is, what is this rotation going to be? Tyler McGill has a terrible outing yesterday. He is, I don't know where he's going to be, but it's not going to be in the 6-man rotation.
Yeah, he's had 3 straight now. That's 3 straight bad outings from him, too.
We got guys who are coming up the pike. We got Paul Blackburn, who just had his final rehab assignment. He's coming up to the club at some point. You have Minaya, who will be making his way back at some point. Again, he may be like,
I think it's July. Forever. I think you're looking at July for Minaya.
And same thing with Frankie Montas, who actually has been pitching in the bullpen sessions, and he is starting his rehab assignment, so he will be back sometime in the next, say, 6 weeks. You don't even know, but that may not sound, too close, but it is. It's coming. So they are going to have, not to mention you have some guys in the minors who are going to have to work their way into this rotation also. So McGill, I really had higher hopes for him. I thought he found something at the end of last year, and he was showing it at the beginning of this year. But every May, he seems to just falter when he goes through in May. And it's tough, man. I thought he had it.
And the Mets came through. Lindor came through in the 9th, obviously, with the sac fly. But they've left a lot of runners on base. They left 8 on base today. They were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. You had Beatty thrown out at the plate right here.
Oh,
and it was a close play. You got to send them. I don't blame anybody on this. This was just, it was safe or it was out. It was a bang-bang play at the plate. They got him. Give the Yankees credit for that. But
send him. You know what the third base coach was? He was like all the way. That was tough. I don't even know.
He was sent
I'm
them,
all
right?
for sending him. No, he did. But he sends. No, I'm all for sending him. You're safe. You have it. You got to get your foot on the freaking plate first. That bounce of the cleat in front of the plate kills me. That was safe every time in Major League Baseball before replay. You know what I mean? Where it's like the runner got his foot in first. The classic, Ken Griffey Jr. beating the Yankees.
Yes.
Even though that was safe. But I'm just saying it didn't matter whether he was safe or not, or your toe bounced. It was always safe. Now it's like, did your cleat bounce? And it's so crazy, that. How close?
Well, they get it right now. They get it right now. And I guess that matters. But you're right. That probably would have been safe. But although he called him out, the call on the field was out.
No, you're right. No, sometimes it's amazing. I'm sorry. We can, balls and strikes aside, it's amazing how good these guys are. And we know the bad guys are bad at it, but some of these umps are really get some tight calls or put themselves in the right spot to make really good calls.
And the Mets pitching is a 2.6 ERA. It's an under 3 ERA. It's the best in baseball. The bullpen has been excellent. Like you said, Reed Garrett was not good today, but he got lucky. Because when you load the bases there, I think it was a huge mistake for Mendoza not to have somebody at least throwing in the bullpen. Right? Because it was his inning then.
Earlier, you have Kranick already give up the home run. You're talking about Brazoban coming in. And
Brazoban was great. Brazoban came in, he pitched really well. Got out of the jam in the 6th.
Ground ball. Pete throws him out at the plate in that scenario, just so you know. he throws him out down there, and then the Mets, obviously get out of it from there. But some good defense too on both sides. The Yankees, some great defense in that inning where they
second base,
down,
good infield defense for the Yankees.
Yeah, that really makes the difference of you want to save a run that kept the runner from going to third. There was some big plays that it wasn't that the play was made, it's that the runners weren't able to advance because of it, and that makes a big difference in these one-run ball games.
And listen, this home run by Bellinger here was no doubt about it, but the LeMahieu home run was a first-row Yankee Stadium home run.
They said it was 4 parks, I believe they said. And you want to guess what the parks are? Did you watch the broadcast?
I didn't see that where they said 4 parks, though, but I would imagine it would be
4 parks where that, think
Fenway,
about it, right? Way, there you go.
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, but I think it was 4 other parks, so I believe it was 4 other, but there weren't many. I believe they said the Dodgers, which I forgot was such a short porch.
They had the short fence out and right.
There. But what's funny on the broadcast, Keith couldn't get the concept of why they were like it would be a home run in that park. And he's like, Wrigley, everything goes out in Wrigley. They're like, that's not the point, Keith. It's like the dimensions. It's the dimensions. He goes, Colorado, thin air, Colorado. And they're like, no, Keith, it's how far the wall is. And he was like, nah, that doesn't make sense. Those are the parks.
But I think one of the big things about this Mets team is they know how to they're the only team in baseball to not lose 3 straight, right? They don't have losing streaks. They lose deal. 2, they win 1.
You know who that reminds me of? You know who's always good after a loss? Your New York Knicks making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what? That just like that, they come back and they never lose out. And the Mets are just like very resilient. After a bad performance, they're not going to go have a couple bad ones in a row. And that's one of the big signs of a good team. Not having long losing
because you're going to lose games. You're going to lose games. Yes. It is what it is. That you want to win series. Like you want to win tomorrow. The rubber match is tomorrow night, Sunday Night Baseball. Probably right.
Yeah, it is 8:00.
Yeah, so it's the night game tomorrow, Sunday Night Baseball. You want to win tomorrow. You want to win these series. Last year they swept the Yankees, like we said, but they swept them. These games are too early, I think. I would rather have these games middle of summer, late, maybe going into the September 11th holiday. Have it like that, but that might be too late. You want to say that's too late in the season? That's fine to be playing.
No, you're right.
Games.
Because what they try and do, they try and get the hook.
They do divisional games now.
And they want early games. They know people are going to go to those late games especially when they're competitive. Whereas now they're like, let's go to games where typically nobody's going to go if the Mets were playing the Diamondbacks this weekend. So we put in Mets, Yankees, and early season. It's like you get a good draw. But
but today was a good win. I think coming back from the loss last night, the 6-2, and like you said, it was McGill. McGill was not good yesterday. He had the one bad inning is really all he had. He loaded the bases. He gave up a couple hits. They gave up the 4 runs, and then they got 2 runs. And you
can't walk 4 batters.
No, you can't. And like I said, Reed Garrett got away with it today.
You have a defense behind you. You have a good offense behind you. You have to throw strikes. I'm sorry. That's what they've learned, and what the Mets pitching, whatever you want, their pitching lab or whatever. They've got these guys who weren't throwing strikes and were all around the zone to throw strikes, and they've learned that, listen, if you don't put guys on and give them that free ones, you have a lot better shot. We don't care about solo home runs, but when you give up a walk, it's over after that. 2 hits away from them blowing it open early, and we're honestly still could have squeaked that one out too. We gave them a run for their money in the 9th inning last night too. So this team's resilient. We don't lose big. It's not like we're not getting blown out like that.
I didn't like Soto's at bat in the 9th inning yesterday. He kind of mailed it in. No, and he had a chance to get on base, and you get peed up with the tying run.
Finally, we need him for the first time to actually get on base and not try and drive. And he comes out first pitch swinging, and you look at it and you go, like, I get it. He's trying to make a statement, but they're making it clear as day. Soto's not going to beat us today. That's like double teaming a guy, like in basketball. They're like, no, sorry. You're not going to get many pitches. Like, they walked them a few times. They had the option. They didn't want to, give the fans, something to boo about, or at least the Mets fans something to cheer about in the stadium. So, they decided to pitch around him for most of the series. And
the Mets, both teams hit into bad luck today. You had the Yankees getting that rocket shot right to Soto in the 8th inning. That with the bases loaded with 2 outs, Soto makes the play, easy play, but it was hit right on the button. You had Soto who hit one right on the button with the bases loaded, but right to the I believe, the second baseman. And that,
Nice.
it was good defense, good pitching today. I think the Mets, Griffin Canning, you got good, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs.
Brett Beatty, amazing defense. I'm sorry, playing a great third base over there.
Brett Beatty's making me look like an idiot.
Bob, the moment you open your mouth, I said it. I go, I know he's going to be a superstar now. And I can tell you, he's made some really, those like little dribbler ones where, listen, if you haven't been doing that for years, it's tough. And, making those bare hand balls.
He made 3 great plays today. The bare hand. Yeah, where he does the underhand throw almost. Yeah, the bare hand was a great play.
That's a long throw. These guys are going quick. You know it's going to be bang, bang. And the worst part is, if you throw it away, you could have 2-run scoring behind you. So it's he stepped up, but the Mets have more coming behind it. That just today or yesterday, they take Ronnie Mauricio off the IL. He's officially off of his rehab assignments. He's playing now at, I don't know if it was over at Syracuse, which is going to be your AAA. And we're talking, he's going to be at third base soon. There's a very good chance Ronnie Mauricio is up there at third base. You're talking Beatty over at second base. Well, now
you have a logjam, though. What do you do, right? You got Vientos, you got Beatty, you have Mauricio.
Acuna's great to have on the bases, but his bat is cooled off, and so he hasn't shown any power at all, which was he had a little bit of that going on down in the minors. So I think Acuna is that great utility guy on the bench, but the guy is McNeil having to play outfield and is the man who's left out.
I figured McNeil would be left out. He hasn't really hit that great either.
It looks like Vientos might bleed into that DH role, is the way I think it might play out.
Well, that's how they had it today. They like having Vientos.
Marte is terrible.
Well, Marte, Marte, I think is older. He's finished,
I think the rotation is going to be between second base, third base, and DH, and it's going to go Beatty, Vientos, and Mauricio, is what I believe. By the end of the season, going into the playoffs, it'll be a rotation between those three and those three spots.
Or do you trade one of them?
No, there's other guys to trade. Let me tell you, we got guys coming up. Jet Williams is absolutely crushing the ball to be our center fielder, and they're going to have a tough time not bringing him up. You know what but they're talking, do we trade him? He's like 5'7".
I mean, you could get a big piece for either, for somebody like
let me tell you,
Acuna or somebody like if Beatty keeps hitting, I'd trade Beatty.
They have a lot of options. They have some arms that can go too. So let me tell you, this is not the Mets team you're going to see at the end of the year. Right now, it's funny. We look at it now, and we got Winker, who's out hurt, Marte, who's terrible, and it's going to be very hard for him to be on this roster at the end of the year if he keeps up what he's doing. I see these young guys, whoever, again, you give them a shot. We're playing well enough where you can bring them in and see if they do it. You can bring a Mauricio in and just say, listen, everybody else, we're probably going to win 2 out of 3 anyway. So let's see what you do, kid, and maybe you'll be the reason we win 3 out of 3. And you don't know when you're playing with. It's easy. It's hard to do it when you're like losing every other game anyway, and you're in a race. And do you want to try this experiment? But they have a good team that can afford to test out these prospects.
Well, listen, that's about as all I could do today, Brett, with my voice, and I'm sick, and I got bronchitis.
Bob's in the middle of a flu game.
I'm in bad shape, and it's my. But I do want to wish my daughter a happy birthday. I have to say that. And so that's pretty much it. The Mets, they even up the series.
No. That's a 10-second birthday wish. Let me tell you.
Happy birthday to my daughter, Bethany. Her second birthday.
No, I know. Listen,
I got a fever. I'm sweating here, Brett.
I've been to Bethany to a few games now. Walk-off wins every time.
Every time.
Walk-off Bethany. If you did not know that.
And she was at Soto's first home run. Soto's second home run. First and second because he had 2 that day. So we might have to be. Question is, when the playoffs roll around, will she still be young enough where we can walk her in without a ticket? Because right now we walk her in without a ticket.
No, we're never paying for her ticket.
She could be 20-something.
Yeah,
so the Mets win it today. They even up the series 3-2. The Mets 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Yankees 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The winning pitcher, and he doesn't deserve to win at all, is Reed Garrett. He's 1-1. The loser is Cruz, and Diaz with his 10th save of the year. The Mets back to a dozen games. Back to a dozen games, over 500. They're in first place. Listen, the Phillies are right on their ass, though, Brett. They're right there, and the Braves are only 5 back. It's a tough division. There is no letting up in this NL East this year. You're going to have to keep winning games. Because it feels like we should be 5 or 6 games up, doesn't it?
Well, you know what the thing is? The Phillies are laughing because everybody's talking about how great the Mets and keep talking about the Mets and talking about the Mets. They've pretty much almost the same, type of record or having the same type of season and nobody's even mentioning them. And I think that might be the way they like it. And by the end of this year, and like you said, Atlanta's creeping up. They may put themselves in a little bit of a hole, but this is going to be a tight division. We got the rubber match of the Mets-Yankees tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. You know what? We win that one. I think we're feeling good. I'd like to see Soto get a home run and shut these Yankee fans up a little bit. But then we're going to move on, Bob. We got some basketball this week. So
yeah, we got plenty of basketball going on. We got some Knicks. Don't worry, we didn't forget about the Knicks. I've just been sick for a couple days and out of commission. We'll have some Knicks. We're going to do some Knicks in a little bit. But this was the Mets, Brett. This was the Mets. It's Subway Series. It always feels good to beat the Yankees, doesn't it? I'm not a big Subway Series fan, but it always feels good to beat the Yankees because screw the Yankees and screw their fans. So that does it for us. For Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters. Mets win. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. See ya.
He struck him out, and the ball game is over. 99-mile-an-hour gas upstairs, and Edwin Diaz notches the save, and the Mets even up the series with a 3-2 thriller.